the nighttime it gets me. Supper and then
Once you guys make a decision.
just keep eating.
The time is 4:30 p.m. The Pelican Rapids City Council meeting of 12 March 2024 is called to order. I ask those in our chamber councils, if you have not signed in, please sign in on the clipboard before you leave this evening. And also, everybody, please put their phones on vibrate. Roll call of members. Danielle?
Councilmember Steve Strand.
Here.
Councilmember Kevin Ballard.
Here.
Councilmember Kurt Markgraf.
Here.
Councilmember Steve Foster.
Here.
And Mayor Brent Frazier.
Here. I want to welcome each and every one of you, those in our council chambers, those joining us by Zoom. Also remember our city council meetings are on Pelican Rapids YouTube channel and also seen on channel 14 on Wednesday evenings. I just have one announcement for the next couple of weeks. Our next city council meeting is Tuesday, March 26th, 4:30 p.m. here at the council chambers. Are there any other announcements? Any other announcements? Hearing none, if we all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Item number 2 is citizens' comments. Anyone in the audience had anything to say for citizens' comments? Seeing none, item number 3 is additions, deletions to the agenda. Any additions or deletions? Any additions or deletions?
I move to approve the agenda as presented.
I'll second.
Motion second, discussion? 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 Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same, motion carried. Item number 4 is approval of consent agenda, which I'll read. Item number 4A is approval of council minutes from February 27th, 2024. 4B is approval of accounts payable listing. 4C1 is police chief report, which is in your packet. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second. Discussion? 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 Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, the same, motion carried. Item number 5, we have Apex Engineering Projects. We have Bob Schliemann who's going to address the situation. There's also a resolution we're going to talk about this evening. Bob?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, council, staff. Yeah, I've got a few things that I'd like to discuss this evening. Hopefully everybody's got the agenda that I provided in front of you. First one is the Trunk Highway 59 and One-Way Complete Streets Project. As most of you know, construction bids were received by MnDOT on January 26th. We followed up with a public hearing at 5:30 p.m. on February 26th at the Fine Arts Auditorium at the Pelican Rapids High School. Thought it went very well, had pretty good attendance, did get some good feedback. Current estimated project budget information. So before we incorporate any funds from MnDOT or grant dollars, the estimated city portion of that project is $7,988,230. After we take out $123,000 and change for MnDOT aesthetics, after we take out $550,000 for a TA grant, and after we take out $370,900 for an AT grant, the remaining estimated city cost is about $6,940,000 and change. Of that, the estimated amount that's eligible for PFA funding, so the Public Facilities Authority, or the PFA, is a funding source that we're seeking funding through for the city's utility portion of the project, which also includes some surface improvements that are related to the replacement of the utilities. The estimated amount that we've requested from the PFA is $6,286,860, and then the remaining $656,780 is not eligible for PFA funding. So we've submitted information to the PFA. We're still waiting to hear back if the city's going to receive any grant dollars or not. So that's where we're at right now. I guess moving forward, since the city does intend to specially assess a portion of these improvements, as part of the 429 state statute process, typically what we have to do is we have to pass a resolution accepting bid. In this particular situation, the city is not the contract holder. MnDOT is the contract holder. So what we've done on past projects is we've actually put together a resolution supporting award of construction contract. And I provided a draft resolution to city staff. I believe you have a numbered resolution in your packet that is a resolution supporting award of construction contract. So the other thing that I have included in the packet regarding this project is a task order for engineering services related to the construction of this project. So it was task order number 8. I think everybody hopefully has that in your packet. It is in the amount of $810,000. So what that includes is over the next 2 to 3 years, our construction administration, construction staking, construction observation, post-construction services. We've also got some dollars in there for PFA administration services because we are going to need some of those because we are receiving funding from the PFA. And then also for final special assessment administration services. All of those services would be provided on an hourly basis. So we would ask the council this evening consider approving that task order number 8 as well. Moving on to item number 2 on the agenda is the 2nd Avenue Southeast drainage improvements. So if you recall, we do have some drainage issues at the end of 2nd Avenue Southeast. We actually opened construction bids on March 6th for that project. We received 6 bids for that project, which was a surprisingly high number for such a small project. The bid tabulation is included in your packet. We've got it shown on the screen here. As you can see, Felt Plumbing of Detroit Lake submitted the low bid in the amount of $81,402. The next one was Gladen Construction at $110,000. Gladen's number actually was higher than that when they originally submitted the bid. They forgot to fill in some blanks, things like that. So when we actually added up their numbers, it came out to $110,000 and change. And then the third lowest was Celine Brothers at $117,000. So where we're at right now is I did call Felt Plumbing, let them know that they were the low bidder, asked them when they wanted to get going on that project for constructing it. They said probably middle to late June is what they're thinking right now, which I think is probably an okay thing. We're still in the process of securing easements from that property owner down there. We're hoping to have those easements secured by the first council meeting in April. So hopefully I would like to come back at the first council meeting in April and hopefully get a construction contract awarded at that meeting. So no action required on that project this evening. You do have 60 days to actually award a construction contract from the day that we open bids. So the last project that I want to talk about this evening is the Pinewood Estates development. As we all probably know, there's a new development that's being designed for the old county shop property. As you can see, kind of the proposed layout of the utility and surface improvements are shown on the screen here. We got authorization to move ahead with design on that project here a month or 2 ago, probably only about a month ago. And this evening we are asking for permission to go ahead and advertise for construction bids for that project. We don't need a resolution because we are not looking at special assessing anything. So all that we're asking for this evening is permission to go ahead and advertise for bids through a motion. So that's all I have this evening. To recap, again, if the city wishes to do so, I would ask that you consider passing a resolution supporting award of construction contract for the Trunk Highway 59 and 108 project.
Your motion?
I'll move we pass that resolution 2024-05.
Second.
Motion second. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried.
I guess the second action item then would be to consider approving the task order number 8 for the Trunk Highway 59 and 108 project, which includes our professional services during the construction process of that project.
I move to pass task order number 8.
Second.
Motion second. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried.
And the third and final item that I would ask the council for this evening is a motion to authorize Apex to go ahead and advertise for construction bids for the Pinewood Estates development project.
Your motion?
Move to
have Apex go forward with the Pine Estates.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion second, discussion? Discussion.
I don't know if this is the place for this question, but I noticed they've cut the trees out of there. Is that all gonna be brought up to grade for that? Because that's like a 10-foot drop on that, in that corner, that northeast corner.
Yep, so that is the plan, to bring that up and do some mass grading through there to bring it to basically a condition where those lots can be developed and that street can be built in there. Yeah, you are correct, Kevin.
Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, the same. Motion carried. Anything else, Bob?
I don't, if there's no other questions for me this evening, I thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Moving on to item number 6, Pelican River proposed rock riffle. And we have Howard Fullhart from the DNR here today. Howard is, we're familiar with Howard, and Howard's familiar with Pelican Rapids with their dam removal river restoration project.
Right.
And he's going to talk about another project.
Thank you, Council. So we'd had potentially some other projects, or a project that has fallen through on some of our funding that freed up potential funds for other projects. So we as a group were kind of sitting around wondering what we could do for some other projects that were small enough, but also would fit in our time frame of getting these projects completed within the next year, 2 years down the road, because the funding that was available is set to expire within the next year or two. And one of them that we thought of when we were doing this project was that down at the First Street, where there's a utility crossing, where you guys are probably familiar with. I've got pictures there and stuff too, where it's concreted. It's not an overall fish barrier, but it does serve as a fish barrier at times when you have lower water flows. Even for smaller fish, it serves as a fish barrier, but it's also a problem too for when people are paddling through a little bit too during lower water. So the idea that we have is that we would, and we would, again, we can continue this through just kind of how we worked with when we did the dam removal and the rock ramp and everything else, but work with Houston Engineer again. But we would actually construct a rock riffle below that, where the snowmobile bridge is at right there. The idea is you're just trying to back up the water, you know, if it's going to be a half of a foot or so, just to raise that water level up a little bit more so the water's a little bit slower. It makes it easier for fish to pass by that concrete utility crossing. And also if someone's floating over it, it gives them just a little bit more water again, so it isn't a roller over it, that they can float over it again. So the idea would be that and it would not cost the city anything. We would just be working through you guys again. You guys would be facilitating, you know, the funds. The funds would come through the state, just like what we did with the rock ramp itself. So, so I'm here tonight just to ask for the council's support to have you guys draw up a resolution that would, you know, just basically say that you guys would support working with the DNR again on our, what we're calling it, the Pelican River First Street barrier. So.
Any questions from the council? Lance, Brian, do you have anything?
I do have a question.
Yep.
Howard, that bridge, when we put that in, it was permitted at that height.
Yep.
By raising by raising the water level, that won't affect the permitted from that, for that.
It will not. And so I should say too is, so even by you guys, again, approving this or drawing a resolution, once we get the plans put together and once all the modeling goes through again, because it will have to be modeled through the engineering firm again, that it's not going to increase any flooding or anything like that too, or any of the structures. It's not going to have any detriment to the structures themselves. We will bring that back to you guys as the council again for approval to say, this is the final design, you know, this is what we'd like to construct before it would even, you know, even go out for bids or anything like that, so.
The soil, or the bottom of the riverbed there, does that elevation change above the sewer main?
It will not change any of the elevation, and that was the idea too, is we don't want to touch anything around that utility or anything like that. We want to stay down far enough that we don't, that if any time that you guys would have to as a city do something with that, you know, it's still there and it's still readily available. Because we talked about, one time we thought, like, could you bury it and raise it, but we don't want to touch that thing. So yeah, that's the whole idea, is if we can go downstream,
Yeah.
bring it back just a little bit. And again, it would, make sure that the shorelines are secure so we don't have any erosion problems and everything else. And the idea too is that city-owned property on both sides downstream of that we could work with, so.
Councilman Strand?
Howard, you said higher water, slower flow.
Yeah.
Take me through that.
Okay, so the whole plan is you're just backing the water up a little bit, so when you back it up a little bit, you create a little bit of a head, and that slows it down just enough, because you're creating just a touch of head. So you raise it, when you raise it up a little bit, you're creating a little bit more force that your current is going down against, so.
Okay.
Truly what we're doing is we're raising the grade at just that point. And like I said, what it does is it raises the water up a little bit. And when you raise the water up, when you got water coming down, it's not significant. And again, that's why it's not a problem when we're looking at flooding or anything like that either. It doesn't bring it, it doesn't slow it down, like stops it, and it doesn't slow it down that much. But it does, when you create a little bit of head, then it can't go down quite as fast, so.
You're going to be working downstream.
Of that snowmobile,
Right?
yep, that pedestrian snowmobile bridge or whatever. I think you guys use it as a snowmobile bridge, right?
Weir is upstream from there, right?
Correct, yep. So we would be working down this area, and upstream is the dam itself. Yes.
Okay.
Yep. So the whole plan is, by putting in a riffle here, you're slowing the water down here a little bit, so you're raising that up a little bit, so then you don't have as much of a roller coming off of that concrete.
If this proposal was awarded, this would be done yet this summer or not?
Design and everything, we maybe, it depends on how soon they would get a design and everything else. And again, working with, knowing what potentially is going on in the city and everything else, we got to work, around what's going on and stuff too. But with that said, it probably is going to be it's going to be a week at the longest for them to do any kind of construction like that. For the most part, it's just going to be putting some rock in, grading it and everything else. I don't even know how many big boulders we'd actually use. We might just use one line of them just as a little bit more to secure it in. But for the most part, it's going to be using some more of that, what they call class 2 or class 4, riprap, so.
And you say no cost to the city?
It would not be a cost to the state, or to the city. We cover all that, so.
Do you have a guess on how much it would cost? I mean, that project.
So I threw out to Houston to look at it real quick, and I just said, can we get this done for $200,000? And they said we should be able to get it done for under $200,000, so.
So you say you need a resolution from us to be passed, or just a motion to continue?
A motion continue, or I don't know how we did it with the dam, if you guys need a resolution or a motion, or ultimately, I don't know how you guys would do it, because the money would be going through you guys. I don't know if you guys, for legality, how you got it, what you would need to do.
We will do whatever you need to.
So there's no downside, is there, Lance, Brian? I mean,
I don't see one. That'll make it a little easier to kayak there, actually.
Yeah, the
By backing
kayakers
up.
are all for it too, yeah, so.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Easier.
Well, I move to proceed.
Okay. Motion.
I'll second the motion. I think it's probably all you'd need is an agreement of understanding, or.
Then, and I can look to see what we did even for the dam itself, and then it would be.
No real construction or.
Right.
Anybody else's land being affected, I think.
Right.
I think that's all
Okay.
required.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Discussion.
What's the motion?
To move forward with this
Show
project.
our support to the DNR.
Riffle. I had to look that up.
Yeah. I thought it was a typo.
I had it as a typo at first.
That's good.
Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried.
Thank
Anything
you.
else, Howard?
Nope, that would be it.
Okay,
Thanks, Howard.
Okay, thank you.
thank you. Item number 7 is Street and Park Report. Superintendent Brian Olson with us this evening.
Here today. Yes, we have overall
I love this spring. It's been quiet, so knock on wood, it continues. But we finally did get, I think it reflects in the bill listing there, but with some expense at McQueen, but we finally did get our gutter broom on our street sweeper we had to completely rebuild that thing from bearings to seals, everything that had ended up happening last fall. Got a little piece of fish string in there, and it just raised havoc with it and took out seals and everything. So, like I said, it's been a pretty calm month. We sanded a couple times, then we swept part of the southwest section, and then we sanded that section again around the school because it got a little icy. So we did. I just figured we're gonna just wait a little bit for sweeping. We got it out in March, late February. It's good. We don't normally get that. So then also we're just keeping busy doing some cleanup around different areas in town, but specifically around the public works area right now is kind of gotten me a little bit overwhelmed. So we've been getting rid of a lot of stuff that we've had up there. So on the parks end, I think you've probably seen it. We've started advertising for lifeguards, pool manager, stuff like that. Looks like they're getting ready to try to get the water and sewer in up there. I got a locate today from the contractor, so that'll be good. So we got a little over a month and a half before we start thinking about opening the parks, and be nice to have water going up there when that starts. Yeah, so that's what I have for you. If you have any questions or.
Any response to the advertising?
I believe there has been one or two that have applied, yes, so.
Okay.
And we've got it, I've got it at the school, I've got it on social media, we've got it in the paper, so I feel we have our bases covered, so.
Okay, there's manager, lifeguards, what?
Just lifeguards, I believe, so far. Yep, so. And I will take a manager, but I want lifeguards. You know, the short season we're gonna have, I think I can kind of manage that a little bit and see how it goes. So I'm not overly concerned about a manager for this summer, but for next summer for sure. But if we get one, hopefully we can get somebody to do it the small amount this year and then carry over to next year, so. Yep.
Brian, is the pool ahead of schedule, do you know?
At our last meeting, they feel like they're on schedule. I guess as nice as it's been, we kind of thought maybe they were ahead, but there's materials they have to get in, there's this and that, so, different things that they've had, so, yeah.
Probably don't want to say they're ahead, just in case.
No, you never want to say you're ahead, right?
All right,
Yeah.
thanks.
But they've enclosed the building now, and I think it'll go a little faster the way it sounds. Inside the building, and they'll have to warm up before the pool contractor can come back and finish that, so.
I think I asked this last time, but I can't remember.
Hopefully I gave you the same
Great
question.
Northern Road,
Yes.
are we gonna be responsible for
No.
getting that up to shape before?
I'm gonna have it bladed this week, but as far as the project starts, the contractor will be responsible for maintaining that road. And I know they've already talked to a local contractor about it, so.
Who makes the call on decision on needs grading and somebody says no,
I'm
it
thinking
doesn't?
that it'll probably be me. I don't know that for sure, but I'm guessing that I'll just have to, hey, that road needs it, and hopefully they have a good superintendent and does that, you know, but
It's in rough shape.
it's in very rough shape.
That'll be a good question in the pre-construction meeting. and
Yep.
That's clarified on
Yep.
who's making the call.
Yeah.
Yep, so.
And on the park side, and I just noticed this, but who's responsible for filling the dog waste bag roller?
Oh, we generally do, if there's one empty, we'll fill it, so we got, which one?
The one on the end of the Peace Trail,
On the east end of it?
yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Any other questions for Brian? If not, is there a motion to approve his
So
report?
moved.
Second? Motion second, discussion. Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, the same, motion carried.
Perfect, thank you.
Item number 8 is Pelican Rapids Aquatic Center pay request, which is in your packet. Then there's also the pay request number 8 to Hammers Construction for $388,940.82. And Lance, you're going to speak to that?
Sure, this is the latest pay request. Our architect Scott went through it and signed off on it. Basically, most of the building expenses that we're working on right now, a lot of masonry, a lot of concrete, things like that, so pretty straightforward. Are there any questions on it?
I move to pay the Hammer Construction request number 8 for $388,940.82.
Second.
Motion second, discussion? Discussion? Discussion?
At the next meeting or the meeting after, could we get a report from Hammers where they're at with,
Yeah, that'd be good, yeah,
Sure, we can get someone here.
yeah. Good. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same? Motion carried. Thank you. Was that it, Lance, on that item?
Yep.
Okay. Item number 9 is FYI, library report in your packet. There was also another handout this evening, which was on your desk. Kevin, do you have anything to say?
This is just some corrected minutes is what this is a copy of. And then I had a question that came out of the meeting. They're still trying to change the address. And if that has stalled at City Hall, or, I mean, apparently it has to come through the city and then through the county, so.
Yeah, I know Andy mentioned at a department head meeting, and I had sent a letter to the county, but I will contact them.
Could you catch me up to date on that?
So currently, the address for the library is Mill Avenue, I think it is, or Mill Pond Avenue,
Okay.
which is the street on the south side of the building, and the main entrance to the library is on the south side, so they're trying to change the address to that, whatever number the library is, and that's called Midway Avenue there.
They have problems with deliveries and such?
Well, it's deliveries, but it also people say they Google map it or whatever to try to get directions to it. It brings them to the front. Well, they park there, then they have to walk around or,
Okay.
to the side of the building to get in. So if we could look at that.
Okay.
That's it.
That was it? Any other questions? If not, we'll move on to item number 10, administrator report. Lance?
Last meeting, worked on the agenda and prep for the city council meeting, attended the department head meeting, met with Wes Keller from Houston Engineering for a wrap-up meeting for that river restoration project. Met with deed representatives for the monitoring visit for the pool project. Completed the required annual report for the state grant, and then started working on that first pay request deed. Met with Stacy Almaraz and Alex Ullman about updates with the Bridge Center. Attended the 2nd Avenue Southeast Drainage Project bid opening. Attended the Fire Department annual township meeting. Met with Greg and Dennis of People Service and walked through the water plant, wastewater plant, and they explained some of the equipment and the treatment process. Working with Dennis from People Service and then Tim Bomer from Municipal Service Company, Inc. about options for repairing the final clarifier number 4 at the wastewater treatment plant. And then working on getting the 10th Avenue Southeast lot back from Otter Tail County so the city can sell it to Mike Carlson as he plans to construct that twin home on that parcel. Any questions?
Any questions?
Thank you.
Where are we at with the Bridge Center? Or is that something we should have either both or one of those guys come to the next meeting or a future meeting to kind of give us an update on that?
We'll be meeting with them again here in the next month or so. They're kind of changed some plans. I think the food shelf was going to be in there originally. Now they're kind of looking at more of a community center on top there. And so, but the first things first, they got to get the mold removal done, and then some landscaping around to get that building so the water's not running in there. That's where they're looking for funding right away. And then, like I said, they're kind of changing their plans upstairs to more of a, maybe a community center.
So would I don't know how the property line is, but would the city be responsible for some of that outside landscaping because of the asphalt and stuff that have been placed there because of the alleys?
It's all their property, so it's-
So really, the city has no,
we have nothing.
nothing to.
Yeah, no vested interest.
I mean, they were talking about possible community centers, so they were kind of asking about help with funding, since, I mean, that's part of our comprehensive plan, to get a community center, and we're kind of looking into how the city could help, or, because we do have that community center fund or something, so maybe if it is going to become a community center, we could help with that, using some of those funds to help with that, I don't know. Those are some things we're looking at.
So can the city, Danielle, can the city donate to something like that? I mean, I think we've had issues with that in the past.
Yeah, and technically, is there gonna be a community kitchen in there?
That's the plan.
Still planning on
Yeah.
that. you know,
Okay, because we don't have
still-
community center funds. We put aside money for the community kitchen,
Oh.
but not the community
Well, I
center.
thought the sale of the,
Went towards,
Community center go towards-
we put it towards a community kitchen.
oh,
That was specific
That was
community
a-
kitchen?
Yeah, prerequisite of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
But even so, I mean, how would we, if we can't donate, I mean, how would we disperse those funds to that?
Well, and that, I would have to get a lawyer involved to look into that, talk to our city attorney. Because if we put that money aside specifically for that, but the city has no,
Control or,
yeah, I don't know if we could use that money towards it or donate it, because the city can't donate
No.
funds. So we'll have to do some digging.
Any other questions for Lance? Thank you. Item number 11, mayor report, a few items in the last couple of weeks. February 29th, had conversations with the mayor at Historic City Hall. I did sign a letter of intent for Dick Nelson. He's trying to get a summer dance camp here. I think it's from state of Montana. I'm not exactly sure. Perform at the high school. It's a 2-week, and he's trying to get that. So I signed a letter of intent for that. I did give a welcome at the First Responders Bank Appreciation Banquet on March 3rd. Like Lance said, we met with Stacy Almerus and Pastor Alex regarding the Bridge Center, and you've heard that conversation already. Attended a 2nd Avenue Southeast Drainage Improvements bid opening. Gave a closing remarks at Ryan Binnix, he's our EDA president, at his business. He had Logix from Canada come down and speak to a bunch of, they weren't just local contractors, they were area contractors about their new products, and he wanted me to give an update on what's going on in Pelican Rapids and also the building opportunities we have here presently at this time. Attended the fire department annual meeting on March 6th, and then also I met with Administrator Roysum on yesterday, 11th, to finalize the agenda for this evening. Any questions?
Thank you.
Seeing no other business, motion to adjourn?
Yeah.
Second? Motion second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Meeting adjourned. Boy, I didn't jinx us. I said it would be a short meeting, I thought I jinxed it.
That made me a record, 'cause I thought last time it was short. I thought that was a record. This was really short.
Yeah, I know.
You weren't here the last one, were you?
No, I was
The last
moving
one was
snow.
short, too.
You don't want to miss the
I know,
short
it's
meetings.
No, I'm going to miss the short ones.
The last one you were moving snow.
Yeah.
It's the 2-hour ones.